Nice. Christian, do you want to start us off in the beginning, or do you want me to start and then go right into the case file?
Let's see. Probably start off and then just go
Okay.
right into the overview.
So we are group one. This will be us doing our analysis of the first mini case file on Lego Group. So it'll be myself, Alec Detman, Christian Gage, Barbara, Alyssa, Salvador, Eduardo, Armando. We are group one, and just to kind of dive into it. So just a quick overview so everyone understands like what the issue or environment is. So Lego Group, it's Legoland building blocks. Three main issues that they're kind of running into throughout their business environment and honestly like their history. First big one issue that they had was just honestly they just had like a really inefficient supply chain management, internal operations too that really needed to get fixed. We'll dive into that, talk about like strategic leadership, internal analysis, sort of deal. Second big issue that we'll be going over from the case file is it's Lego. They lost like a big trademark for their building blocks. And what that resulted in was just really two main big competitors that really made a push and taking up market share after losing that trademark. So in that second issue, we'll go over external analysis, so strategic group mapping and just the general business environment. And then we'll talk about strategy and how to stay competitive from the point of from Lego's point of perspective. Talk about like brand equity, economies of scale, that sort of deal. Then our third and final issue, we'll go over Disney acquiring Marvel, why that's important. Lego had a lot of licensing agreements with Marvel. Now that Disney acquired Marvel, there's just more uncertainty with those licensing agreements between Marvel and Lego, and really plays into just competition and wanting to stay competitive and having those assets in their possession. So we'll talk about business strategy on that, how Lego differentiates themselves, talk about Blue Ocean collaborations, and then get into business models and how Lego makes their money. But from there, we'll go from like our first issue.
All right. Issue number one, like Alec mentioned before, strategic leadership and internal analysis. I will be covering strategic leadership for us today. So this right here, this image is of Kjeld Christensen, and he was CEO of Lego from 1979 to 2004. He is the grandson of Ole Kirk Christensen, who founded Lego back in 1932. He attained his bachelor's degree and an MBA from IMD Business School in Switzerland. And then I wanted to go over a definition of strategic leadership real quick, defined as an executive's use of power and influence to direct the activities of others when pursuing an organization's goals. Kjeld seemed to have a lack of experience as a strategic leader. His goals for the company were unclear, and he didn't have a strategy to accomplish his goals. This was highlighted from the years 1998 to 2004, when Lego lost money 4 out of those 7 years. Due to this downfall, Kjeld stepped down as CEO and was replaced by Jørgen Knudstorp. And this is a picture of Jørgen Knudstorp right here. Knudstorp started at Lego in 2001 as a director of strategic development. Knudstorp recognized that Lego's problem was not in the product, but instead in the distribution and supply chain operations. Knudstorp wasted no time and immediately assembled a leadership team whose goals were to analyze every part of Lego's supply chain operations. Knudstorp was successful in determining what problems Lego had behind the scenes. And those problems will be talked about in the internal analysis section after I go. So Nudstorp, unlike Cage-Old, noticed these problems. Cage-Old should have recognized that there was a problem with the distribution and supply chain operations while he was CEO, but he lacked the strategic leadership to do so. Instead, he just focused on the product and how to sell more, and didn't really think about behind the scenes where it could go wrong. Someone who demonstrated what it takes to be a good leader is Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook. Although Facebook isn't related to Lego in really any way, he did something that Cage-Old, one of the former CEOs of Lego, should have done. He recognized that he was inexperienced, Zuckerberg did, recognize that he was inexperienced in running a business, his business Facebook. So he went to someone else. He asked Sheryl Sandberg to leave Google and be his second in command. Zuckerberg knew that Sandberg had an excellent knowledge and experience in running businesses. So he said, if you come work for me, I'll put you in my second command. And then that way he was able to focus on his on technology where he thrived, and let Sheryl be the head of business operations. I think if Cage-Old was to recognize his problem earlier, and instead of just ignoring it and hire someone to help him, like he eventually Nudstorp took over, if he had went to Nudstorp earlier to ask for advice or put him in second command, a lot of problems could have been avoided. Next would be internal analysis. Right now, Eduardo, who would be covering this, is not with us. He is busy, but he will be covering his section in a separate video that will be seen after hours. So he goes over what problems the distribution and operating chain faced. So after this, you'll see that. And then next, I'll pass it over.
For issue number 2, I'm going to go ahead and focus on strategy. So for strategy, Lego could stay competitive. After losing the trademark over their blocks, the Lego group should focus on enhancing brand equity and leveraging economies of scale. The brand equity can be strengthened by emphasizing the quality and the innovation of their products, by ensuring the customers continue to associate the brand with reliability and creativity. The company can also focus on being effective marketing campaigns that highlight the unique features and benefits of their products, creating a strong and emotional connection with the audience. The second strategy that you can also use would be leveraging economies of scale by optimizing production processes and supply chain management. The company can reduce manufacturing costs and offer competitive pricing without compromising on quality. Developing in-house themes and securing licensing agreements with popular franchises can create unique selling points that differentiate their products from competitors. And those would be 2 of the good strategies you could use to continue and stay competitive.
Nice. And just to build on that, to get an idea of the business environment after that trademark loss, biggest competitors that Lego is dealing with, and can really benefit from maybe lowering their costs from economies of scale. It's Hasbro and then Mega Brands. You can kind of see in that left-hand graph, the x-axis illustrates like price points for either of these 3 companies, and the y-axis shows product differentiation. So those are the 2 main different strategies, whether you want to sell products that are at like a lower price point. That's going to be more Mega Brands. So they're catering more towards people that are more cost conscientious. I don't care too much about the quality of the products that they're buying. Maybe their parents just buying bricks for their kids. And then we can see in the top here, Lego. These guys have been around for a while. They really focus on differentiation. So that's like it's like really the quality of their products. So it's quality that they charge at a premium. They're able to do that honestly just because of really just brand loyalty. But it also plays into that Lego just has a much wider variety of products, period. So it's not just building sets, it's also video games, it's TV shows, movies. It's just a lot greater product differentiation. They sell a lot more different stuff than other brands like or other companies like Mega Brands that it's really just more focused on the building sets. Building from that, going on to this right side graph, Porter's five forces. So what is Lego really dealing with? But as an industry as a whole, just rivalries ever since that Lego lost that trademark for their blocks. That's really when we notice like a huge uptick in competition. Being Hasbro and Mega Brands, they're able to copy Lego's product. I mean, it's pretty easy just to copy like a brick. And because they can leverage their brand name, it allows them to take up more of the market pool or market share. Threats of new entrants. It says it's moderate here, mainly because it's like I said, it's easy to copy as another company. They're just blocks, and then now with e-commerce, that's pretty easy just to get the word out there. Biggest thing why it's moderate and not high is just it comes down to just branding. Like no one cares that much about branding. If they're gonna buy or about blocks, if they're gonna buy blocks, they'll just buy from like Lego or these bigger guys. Bargaining power for buyers. These people, whether they're more conscientious or cost conscientious or not, they'll always compare prices. But then again, also you gotta take into account just brand loyalty. A lot of people like Lego, so more likely to stick with them. Threats of substitutes, it's low. I did put in here that like the digital play or digital building. So it's like you could even probably incorporate like Fortnite into this, but also just like building games online. It takes away from the physical building of say like Death Stars. It definitely has their like market for that kind of product, but the idea of digital play video games building online is a threat, but it's low. Plus, Lego already capitalized on that, coming out with their own video games. Bargaining power of suppliers, now it's low. And Christian touched on this with the first issue. Lego had a really crappy supply chain management system, but because they were able to cut off like 80% of their suppliers, now they went from like 28 to 4. So Lego, they have a much stronger or there's a lot more influence over their suppliers. They only have 4. So down here, it's like Lego's size and vertical integration. So that's their relationship and control over their suppliers. It's a lot smaller. Lego isn't as stretched out, so suppliers have less power, especially over like negotiating power. But then we'll move over to the third issue from there. Nice.
Internal analysis. Supply chain management problems. Under Christensen's leadership, Lego had many problems, especially with the supply chain management, where they had tons of extra costs. For example, product designers were creating new sets without considering cost of materials and production, resulting in Lego dealing with over 11,000 suppliers, as designers often selected their own personal suppliers. Also, extra waste and materials left over, with new brick designs or rare colors not used as much. Then Lego were dealing with 26 different logistics providers that ship products from multi-level distribution networks, creating a backlog of orders and inefficiencies in inventory levels. Lego also had poor organization of molding machines, with each able to produce every type of Lego bricks, resulting in high retooling costs and creating long downtimes, making facilities work at only 70% capacity. Also, Lego was spending the same amount of time dealing with thousands of small stores, representing only 1/3 of the revenue, as it did with 200 larger big box stores that generated 2/3 of the revenue. Smaller stores added extra shipping costs as well because they often ordered less product. Spending not enough time with the big stores created inaccurate forecasting and inventory shortages, resulting in a decrease of sales. Mm, Now with Nudstorp's new leadership team, changes had to be had to be made to reduce this extra unwanted cost. The Lego brick colors made were cut in half, while having no more new brick designs and only producing the existing molds, creating an 80% decrease in suppliers needed. Lego also reduced the logistic suppliers from 26 to 4 while improving structure and communication. Smaller distribution centers were replaced by larger hub centers that were strategically located closer to retailers, providing better control over inventory and fewer stock shortages. For the molding machines, certain machines were assigned to make only specific Lego bricks on scheduled production cycles, reducing the amount of downtime and cost of retooling for each machine. To find a balance between the small and larger stores, discounts were offered to smaller stores in exchange for placing orders early, making more sales. For the larger big box stores, Lego worked closely with them to provide joint forecasting, inventory management, and marketing support, being more organized. The results with all the changes were all positive as inventory turnover increased by 12%, earning a profit of 72 million in 2005. Also an increase in inventory turnover of 11% and the profit increase of 240% in 2006. Under Nudstorp's leadership, all the changes were a success and the profits for Lego grew enormously.
Some of LEGO's competitors engage in cost leadership by offering cheaper alternatives of LEGO's building bricks. Because of this, LEGO must differentiate their products in other ways to compete. One way LEGO is able to do this is through the quality of their products and the simplicity of the instructions that are included. Another way LEGO differentiates their products is through collaborating with popular movies and franchises like Harry Potter and Marvel. LEGO's wide, diverse range of collaborations and products is what makes them so appealing to so many consumers, no matter how old they are.
Otra vez, a decir. Okay, for the business model section, we could see here in the image provided that it consists of key partners, key activities, key resources, value propositions, which I will later talk more about, customer relationship, customer segments, the channels, the cost structure, and the revenue streams. To go more deeply into revenue streams, we could see that LEGO contains many of its revenue from the sale of LEGO sets and products. To favor the preferences and needs of the customer, LEGO allows users to build and design their own creations. Alongside LEGO sets, we could see that they also obtain revenue through board games, theme parks, through online and retail partners, non-licensed building sets, licensing partnerships, which ultimately produced more production lines to LEGO, video games as a result of licensing agreements. LEGO's licensees was a huge success. In 1999, they acquired the license right to famous movies and children themes, which led to the launch of LEGO Star Wars and Duplo Winnie the Pooh product lines. These licensing agreements were specialized sets based on movies, TV shows, video games, and other intellectual property, including like Lego Western, Lego Adventures, and so on. As they continue to produce more products, they acquire more license rights from famous movies and children's themes, and created well-known characters from popular franchise films, including Harry Potter, Spider-Man, and so on, which later on were developed into Lego series sets. This meaning that the licensing partnership that Lego had expanded the product line for Lego, which was a huge successful acquisition of the rights. The licensing agreements include the amount of time a licensee could produce a product, the type of products to be created, and in which countries the products can be sold. So for the business model, it is used to speculate how the firms conduct business, how it obtains revenue, how Lego's relationship with the key stakeholders such as buyers, suppliers, and partners go through. In this case, the pre-licensee's agreement with Marvel, which was bought by Disney. This issue created a speculation as to which direction Disney would proceed with the future toy licensing agreements. Since with Disney taking over Marvel, it represented a huge significant move as to what Disney was going to do with the pre-existing licensing agreement Marvel had with Lego. As Disney stated, they were gonna see what route to take depending on what they felt created the most value. So to point out this Lego dilemma, in order for them to succeed or to have not had this dilemma speculation going on, they should increase value configuration, which means they should create more value to the firm to outperform their competitors, which include Mattel and Hasbro, which they also had a pre-licensing agreement to Marvel, which was now taken over by Disney. With Disney stating that they were gonna take a route to the most valuable firm, Lego's issue was properly being viewed as a valuable or invaluable company. They should increase value configuration to have this perspective non-existence, to start and continue being viewed as a valuable organization that can and will sell the product successfully. They should also continue to partner, network, and attain secure licensing agreements. Up to date, Lego has diversified its business model for movies, video games, theme parks, and up to now educational programs. For Lego to continue thriving and expanding, they need to be able to contain creativity and imagination with good themes. They need to be viewed as a valuable firm. As to licensings, they gotta have a secured partner network where they won't have to go through the dilemma of being viewed as a valuable or non-valuable company.